Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is your boy Cryptid XL. You could call me Chris, you could call me whatever you want. I'm joined here with my buddy Gareth. Gareth?
Hi, I'm Gareth.
That's Gareth. Gareth isn't super familiar with the horror genre, whether it be movies or games. I know he's explored a little bit into the games, not by a ton or anything of that. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of start a YouTube series in which we're going to call Horror I Hardly Know Her, where every episode is going to include four different taglines. These four taglines are going to be all movies. The first two that they're going to be staggered, but we're going to be doing four different movies, two of which I'm going to poorly describe to him, and he's going to try to figure out what movie I'm poorly describing to him, whether he has seen it or not. We're going to get some funny answers. Maybe he's seen them, maybe he hasn't, maybe he just knows of it. However, the other two movies he is going to have to poorly describe. I'm going to give him the title, and we're going to see if he could poorly describe it to us, and we're going to go from there. So, without kind of going into a little bit more, Gareth, can you give us your perspective on what you know about the horror genre itself?
I would say that I am familiar with tropes of the horror genre. I am familiar with, like, how they normally play out, but I have not watched or played that much horror. A little bit of Resident Evil. I've watched people play stuff like Amnesia, and then I've seen movies like, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, more of the horror comedy stuff than actual horror. Aliens, which is action horror, not really super horror-y.
I'd even still go willing to classify that as sci-fi horror, and that's
Yeah,
that's saying
but
a lot because it's not super horror based, but you know,
and then also like The Thing. I'd watch older horror. The newer stuff tends to be too gory, honestly.
okay. And that could be considered a hot take to a lot of the horror fandom, but to each their own. And I love that because horror is so multi-leveled that it could be, anyone could be into it depending on what it is. I mean, horror comedy, you said you're into. A lot of people hate horror comedy, a lot of people love horror comedy. I'm a fan of it. I think it's hilarious. I'm excited for all the new scary movies. I think they're great movies in my opinion. Kind of stupid, very fun to watch. So in your ideas and your mind, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in guessing the movies that I'm going to poorly describe, and how confident are you in describing movies?
7 in guessing, because honestly, I have looked at Wikipedia pages a lot. And I have seen a decent number of horror, just not anything recent, really. And then for describing, 2.
Mm, okay, I'm excited for that because these could lead to some funny answers. So, I kind of explained a little bit of how I'm going to do the rule set for you, at least for the first few episodes of this series. I'm going to do some more out there horror movies, stuff that people have seen, not super obscure. So you're not going to get stuff like Rubber. You're not going to get Human Centipede. You're not going to get Tusk. You're not going to get Zombie Ass. I'm going to do some more, stuff that hit theaters. So at least for the first few episodes, and then we talk on a weekly basis. Whenever we hang out and everything. So it's one of those things where I could always introduce you slowly to some other stuff, and maybe we can go from that. But don't expect it to be easy the entire series. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and kick this off with the first prompt. Do you want to describe, or do you want me to describe?
Let's see what you got.
Okay, so we're going to start out with this one. And again, remember, these are going to be some poorly described stuff. There's going to be a lot of like filler clues in there. It's going to be something that you could guess even if you haven't seen it, but they are still going to be obscure ways to describe these, okay?
I got it.
An academic obsession with graffiti and ghost stories accidentally awakens a vengeful man coated in myth, trauma, and bees. He appears when spoken of too much, like a curse or a thesis deadline, and offers both terror and tenderness. With a hook for a hand, mirrors become doorways, bonfires become altars, and the line between belief and becoming blurs with every sting. And your hint for this one, if you want a hint, feel free to ask. I do have one loaded.
I think I know this,
Okay.
even though it has absolutely nothing to do with the title, what you just said. It is the Candyman.
That is absolutely correct. And would you be surprised if I told you the title does have something to do with it?
It doesn't?
It does. So in the film, whenever you kind of get the backstory about the Candyman and everything that he did, when he is fully tortured and he's covered in the honey and the bees and everything to start swarming him, there's a child that's kind of mocking him while he's on the ground, and he says he's covered in honey. He's a Candyman.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that movie, the line that I was gonna drop for a hint for you is I was gonna let you know that I was friends with the main actor of that movie. That as whenever I was much younger, he terrified me, and then over the years we became friends. I do want to give respects to him, the late great Tony Todd. May he rest in peace. He was a wonderful man. He was a wonderful actor. I'm glad I got to become friends with him. Have you ever seen Candyman?
I have not. I remember my family watching it, but I was too young and I was not in the room.
Okay. So it's a really really great movie. There's a ton of information on it. There's like a line of where it's really saying like how bad racism can be and everything like that. Whenever you take away like the horror elements to it, that story it's a powerful story for it itself. I think one of my favorite fun facts about this movie, not to like brush any of that off because it's a very serious topic and tone of a movie, but there's a scene when the Candyman and Helen are both together, and he lets out bees from his mouth. That was a practical shot. Tony actually had bees in his mouth. The part of his contract for that movie was that he would get $1,000 for any bee sting he incurred, since it's in his mouth. How much money do you think he got? How many stings do you think he got?
Well, how many bees was it?
I'll put a picture on screen. You're not going to be able to see the picture, obviously, in this sentiment here, but it was a mouthful of bees, like crawling all over his face. It was probably a good like 100, 200 bees.
Well, it won't work if too many stung him because I guess they probably wouldn't die immediately, and it would also depend on the type of bee.
I believe they were just
But
standard honeybees.
okay. Um, maybe around 20.
Around 20.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you, it's a little bit more than that.
a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
27.
27. It's a solid number. You're not far off. He was stung 23 times for a total of $23,000.
Ah,
So not super far off from your initial guess, but man, 23 bee stings around the face and mouth is insane. Like that's an actor right there.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's just like that story about the guy who let himself be eaten in Django Unchained. Except that one was a fake story.
yeah, fair. All
You
right.
remember that where they talked about there was basically the urban legend where I think it was I honestly don't even know who the actor was, but they were like, this guy gave his life in this scene where he was eaten by dogs. He chose to let himself actually be eaten. Look at that dedication.
Oh wow. I haven't seen Django Unchained in probably a decade at this point, so I don't remember.
I think it was Django Unchained.
It was a great movie, but again, I
Oh,
haven't seen that
yes.
one in forever.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move into prompt number 2. Or actually, you know what? Before we move in there, now that you know a little bit more about Candyman and like what it entails, is it something that you'd watch?
I don't want to see somebody spit out live bees.
That's valid. That's valid. So probably gonna pass on that one.
Yeah. Also, that would be a horrific way to die, getting honeyed.
Yeah, truly. It's a rough scene. It's whew, man, it's yeah. All right. Let's move on to prompt number 2. This is going to be a prompt where you're going to be describing a movie based off of if you know it or don't know it. But again, like I said, first few episodes are going to be a little easier, so I expect that you've at least seen this maybe once, even if it's just bits and pieces of it. Do you want it to be a sequel or do you want it to be an original?
Well, if it's a sequel, I almost definitely haven't seen it. It's the original, there's a chance. So I will leave it up to you if you want it to be maybe I've seen it or I most likely haven't.
Okay. Maybe we'll do sequels, further into the series it goes. So, with that said, go ahead and describe to me the original Halloween.
The original Halloween. Okay. So,
Let me cut you before you get started, okay?
okay.
Hey, YouTube, just to kind of reference this a little bit, I have told Gareth how many different timelines there are and what different, like, branches of Halloween there are. He doesn't really know much about it, so, if you're on the remake timeline and you are obsessed that Michael is not Laurie's brother, don't trip out on him if he's going to reference it that way. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's absolutely her brother. I was going to start with that because I listen, it came out long ago enough that the retcons don't matter for the original movie. Just he's her brother. It's only the three ones that are from like what 7 years ago. They
Mm,
started 7 years ago.
yeah, 2018.
Yeah, before that, he's her brother
Okay, so you're gonna follow probably like the Cult of Thorn timeline for this one.
or whatever that means. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's this real funny man, Mike Myers, and he decides to go out on a killing spree because I don't know, somebody didn't laugh at his jokes or something. And his sister, well, okay, I think that he got put into a insane asylum and then he escaped. Uh, and he tries to kill his sister because she told him that he'd never make it as a comedian, even though everybody knows how funny Mike Myers is. And, it's just your classic horror comedy where this crazy killer tries to kill his sister because why not? In the end, what, do the cops shoot him or
His doctor.
his doctor shoots him? That one's, that one's not common. They're not supposed to do harm. They missed the memo.
They missed the memo.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, so he dies, falls into a pit or something, and then, oh no, his body's gone by the time the next movie happens, and he's now immortal.
okay, I like it. I okay. So very
And yes, I
wrong.
know his name is Michael Myers,
Yeah.
but
That's pretty much the only bit you got right.
it, I called him Mike Myers
Yeah,
uh, because clearly he's Shrek.
yeah, yep. He's absolutely Shrek. So, you've never seen the Halloween films. You've probably only seen bits and pieces in passing. Um, do you want to know what the original Halloween is about?
Uh, yeah, lay it on me.
So Halloween night. Oh gosh, I can't even remember the year. I want to say it was like 1960 something, maybe. A young Michael Audrey Myers is supposed to set out for trick or treating. He dresses up as a clown. Realizes, hey, my mind's a little weird. Grabs a knife from the kitchen, masks up, and goes to where his sister is in her room with her boyfriend. She's probably about like 17, 18, and catches them, doing the thing. And he's like, well, cool. I don't like this. This is weird to me. And ends up stabbing and killing his older sister Judith. and her boyfriend at the young age of, I think, 8, 9, maybe, I can't remember the exact details of it, ends up going outside and waiting for police to show up. They arrest him. He's institutionalized for a long time. A lot of people think that young Michael Myers correlates what he witnessed his sister doing while she was supposed to be taking care of him and everything, correlates the, in and out motion to murder. And, this is kind of just a theory, a running theory, is that, a knife going in and out of someone is his form of that. Years later, he escapes that mental institution. Halloween night rolls back around. Again, we'll go with your timeline on that. He knew about like a baby sister that he had, that being Laurie Strode. So he kind of stalks her a little bit, trying to get his eyes on her, and kind of just spends the entire night of that Halloween night kind of hunting her down, killing her friends, anyone who's really, taking part in that exact act of what you may think it is. And yeah, you're pretty right. His doctor's the one who shoots him. Gosh, in the quote of Sam Loomis, I'll probably play that quote here somewhere. He shot him 8 times, I want to say, on the top of a balcony from the house. He falls over off the balcony. I think he just lands in the yard. It might have been a pool in the remake from Rob Zombie. I don't recall. But he falls into the yard and ends with, the camera cutting on him. And you're absolutely right. 2 opens up the exact same night and he's no longer there. So, but that's a different movie, different story. But that's Halloween.
I didn't even realize that he had an older sister that he killed.
That's how it opens up. Her name was Judith Myers.
Oh,
So I'm going to give you a fun fact, kind of like I gave you the fun fact of me being friends with Tony Todd during Candyman. The fun fact for this movie is the mask that Michael wears is a spray painted William Shatner mask.
I knew it was some actor's mask because I had heard that before. I just forgot who it was.
It's William Shatner. They got it at a hardware store. The budget was super low. John Carpenter it's amazing. He did the score, everything. That super iconic.
Oh, John Carpenter is so great.
Oh, absolutely phenomenal. Did you know that it was a John Carpenter film?
I probably could have told you, but I'm not 100% that I would have remembered on the spot.
Okay. So now that you did your poor description of Halloween, and I've kind of told you a little bit more about it, would you watch it?
Probably I have been interested in watching it or like movies like it. Like I've seen Scream. It's a great movie. It's basically one of the original horror comedy slashers.
It's a very meta movie.
Yeah. And so like Halloween would be it wouldn't really have the comedy, but it would still be the older stuff that is like really good.
Okay. So we have checked off one that you'd be interested in. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I believe that goes to me where I need to do a poor description now, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. This one we're gonna kick it a little older. I want to say this movie was late '80s, early '90s. It's been a long time since I've watched it. And I've told you a lot about the bands I listen to, like Ice Nine Kills, and how they make a lot of music based off of these horror movies. This is gonna be another horror movie that Ice Nine Kills does have a song based on. So, are you ready for this poor description?
I am.
A young FBI trainee teams up with a jailed foodie who speaks in riddles and vibes like an evil therapist to catch a man who's way into sewing. There are death moths, cryptic dinner conversations, and a very, very unfortunate basement. Somewhere between skin suits and lamb screams, it's technically still a job interview.
Well, it puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Was me mentioning the lamb screams a little too much? Or was this a
I
movie that you know?
knew I I have seen Silence of the Lambs. I wouldn't even personally consider it horror, it's more of a thriller.
To a degree, yeah.
But I guess
It's very
in a
much a split
way,
movie. Half of it's horror whenever you get the Buffalo Bill stuff, and then half of it's more of like a cop thriller whenever you're doing like the focusing on Clarice.
uh, Silence of the Lambs is such a good movie as well.
Well, the fact
Like,
that they have like 10 different remakes and versions of it, yeah, it's fucking awesome.
yeah, like I guess you could say that's horror because he does cut off somebody's face and put it on his own.
Eats the
Like,
brain.
yeah, and
It's
honestly, cannibalism is very horrific.
yeah, no, it's I personally classify it as horror. Like I said, I classify it as like a split genre movie. It's very much like a a cop thriller mixed with horror elements.
But as soon as you said that an FBI agent, Brainy, teams up with somebody in jail, I didn't even need to hear more than that.
You knew right away.
Yeah.
Cool. So your fun fact on this one, because it's not much of a fun fact. I kind of listed it off. Ice Nine Kills does have a song based off of this. It's called Meet and Greet. It's a great song, very beautiful instrumental. But the fun fact that I'm going to give you for this is Sir Anthony Hopkins. Have you ever wondered why he wears white in that movie?
Why does he wear white?
So he said that it plays on the fear that people have a subconscious fear of doctors wearing white. So anytime he gets blood on him, it kind of triggers that phobia. It's meant to like kind of make it a little bit more scary.
That makes sense.
Which I mean, yeah, blood on like white clothes that does kind of freak you out a little bit, and I can see like the whole doctor part in there.
Yeah, and he was a doctor of a sort, so it makes sense.
And I personally, I think that's a great movie. It deserves, all of the remakes, reboots, sequels, whatever you want to call them. I mean, there's like 10 different variants that you could watch. Silence of the Lambs, all based on the same story. That is also just a movie that's hit pop culture so much. It's been in Family Guy. It's been in South Park. I think it's literally what hasn't it been in at this point.
I mean, I still want to watch the show, which I have not yet.
So it was interesting. It was I didn't watch all of it, but it did catch my attention for the amount that I did watch. Okay,
Yeah, like, I mean, who knew that humans could look so delicious?
I hate you.
Have you ever seen the cooking scenes in that show?
Yes.
Like,
God damn it, I hate you sometimes.
it looks great.
Okay, so we have one more. Do you want
All
it
right.
to be a newer movie, more of like the thousands, or more of an older movie? Because
I
keep in
feel
mind,
like
this is the one you're explaining.
in like older movie, there's more of a chance that I will get it.
Okay.
A newer movie, maybe. I haven't really kept up with new horror. The place where I think that I would miss the most would probably be in the thousands, the 2000s. Like,
Okay.
so,
So we're just gonna keep it simple. It's a great series. It's one of my favorite series of all time. You may have seen it. This series spawns 10, 11 if you count the spin-off for it.
Friday
Uh
the 13th.
yes. No.
Yeah, no.
No. I would like for you to describe Saw.
Saw. Okay. So, I'm trying to think of who the other actor is in the place. I know it's the Dread Pirate Roberts. Somebody's really upset about, him being the Dread Pirate. Uh, and somebody else. They just get captured, and then there's a dead body in there with them. I, for the record, I have not seen Saw, but I have watched videos about it and also read a bit about it. So I do know, like, the basic plot, although not the, like, minutia. So, Dread Pirate Roberts, somebody else, and a dead body are locked in a bathroom type area Either that or they end up in a bathroom. And they are told, you have to get out of here within 2 hours or something, or you will die. Meanwhile, there are cops looking for them, or trying to figure out who kidnapped them, blah blah blah. Uh, let's see. So they're both chained up. One guy is a fucking idiot and loses a key down a bathtub drain. And then he gets told, hey, you have a key in your leg, so why not go for it? Although it might actually be the guy who didn't lose the key has the key. But after much hemming and hawing, he does get to seeing and sawing.
I hate you so much.
And yeah, he starts bleeding profusely because he just cut off his fucking foot to get a key to escape to not die, which, I mean, honestly, at that point, just bank on somebody finding you because you're just gonna fucking bleed to death, dude. You're just a dumbass. Uh, but yeah, he escapes and just probably dies of blood loss immediately after. I'm pretty sure he dies. I actually don't really know what happens, but the reason why they're captured is because, let's see, there's a doctor who refused to prescribe the guy cancer medication, or an insurance agent or something. Uh, there's a guy with cancer who's dying. He's also crazy because it's brain cancer and it has fucked with his head a lot. And he just tortures and eventually kills, with the chance of them escaping, people who he feels have done wrong. And he's also the corpse that was in the room with them. Because, surprise, he was alive, and for some reason they never checked the body in the middle of the room when there could have been something with that. Like, they're just all dumbasses, you know?
So you're not super far off. You described a lot of the set pieces from the first Saw movie, but you started whenever you were branching off into like the cancer stuff, into the doctor not doing things, into the like health insurance biller not doing his job properly. You described probably about 4 different Saw movies all in that go. So
Really?
yeah. So the first two, again, it's been a while since I've seen these movies. The first two people that are in the first game ever in that bathroom with John laying in the middle of the floor. I don't remember exactly what they were in there for. One of them does cut his leg off. I believe he ends up surviving and eventually becoming one of the apprentices for Jigsaw. John Kramer. If I again, it's been a while. But that's kind of what happens there. The key was behind his eyeball, I think, initially, not in his leg, but the only way to
Wait,
kind of get out of that was to saw his own leg off.
oh, because it was the key to the chain that he knocked down the drain.
Correct.
And then he had to cut his leg off because he couldn't get. Okay.
Correct. But yeah, you kind of, poorly described about 4 different entries in that, which still proud of you because that's a fucking interesting feat to go for. If I'm being completely honest, you can shit on me all you want for this one. I don't think that John Kramer was ever the villain. I think he was just kind of misunderstood. He doesn't go crazy killing these people. Some of them deserve it. What he's doing, and the biggest quote of that franchise is "Life or death." God, live or die. The choice is yours. Or something along that vein is what the quote for like the franchise is. Basically, it's people who have either wronged him or have done wrong in their own personal life, where he puts into these situations that are very similar to, statutes of what they did to be like a bad person. That's kind of how their game is played out. Any kind of game that John was personally the one inventing, they're all games that are survivable. But whenever you get into the other apprentice, the male apprentice, I can't remember his name. He's just kind of doing it to kill. He's not really making the game survivable. I would say like his games have like a 25% chance of winning, where John's had like at least a 75%. And then you eventually move into Amanda, who kind of takes over. She was like always like the main apprentice to John. And again, I'm talking about the series at this point since you kind of described some of the series. Amanda starts doing games that are, more doable until, John fully dies. He succumbs to, the cancer and everything like that. And it kind of angers her, if I remember correctly. And then she starts making some of the games a little harder, but she goes out more on a personal vendetta with them. So a lot of what you described is pretty accurate, but not to the first movie. It's more spread along like 4 different movies.
Like I said, I've watched videos and I've read a bit about it. It definitely all just got jumbled up.
Yeah, yeah, I figured. So, is that a franchise? I'm not even gonna say a specific one. Is that a franchise
I
you'd
would
watch?
not watch it at all, ever. No,
Okay,
thank you.
too much of like torture porn and gore porn for you.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. I like those movies. I think they're impressive whenever you get down to like the basics of it. The original one was initially directed by James Wan, and if I remember correctly, they had like a super low budget that like made over like 60 times what they spent on the movie in box office, which eventually signed them up for like 3 immediate sequels. For a while there, those movies were coming out literally every single year, and they were very, very profitable.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it costs that much to just lock people in a bathroom with a couple set pieces.
Yeah. I think another fun fact that I want to say is, and this is the second time or the first time that I'm going to do like a dual fun fact for a movie that we've been given. You like horror comedies. In Scary Movie 4, this is a little bit of a trivia pop quiz for you. Have you seen the Scary Movies?
I have not watched a single one of them, no.
Oh, then it's not going to be a pop quiz. It's more going to be trivia fun fact for you then. Scary Movie 4 does recreate the Saw 1 bathroom scene, and it takes 2 very famous people and puts them in the places of it. Would you like to take a guess at to who they might be?
Okay, well, knowing Scary Movie, they are probably black, although I could be entirely off base there.
One of them is an African American person.
Okay. See, that does narrow it down because that means that it's not they're they're from America, which really does not
They're
narrow it down at
not
all.
exactly an actor. They
Okay.
are famous for something other than acting.
Okay, so like Ice Cube.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Eh, Okay. Eh, Why Shaquille O'Neal?
Because they make a funny joke later on when Cindy and Cindy and Brenda, whenever they find that room, they make a joke because Shaq's been in there forever that he's decomposed at this point, saying that they held captive a dinosaur.
Well,
He's got big bones.
yeah.
The
Yeah, he's
other
a
actor,
very big
the other actor in that is, or it's not even an actor. It's a public personality. I don't know what you. It's Dr. Phil.
man. He should be locked in there, honestly.
So I think we're done talking about Saw at this point. Of these 4 movies that we listed off, you've seen only Silence of the Lambs, right?
Let's see. So it was Silence of the Lambs. I can't even remember what the other two were.
Gosh, okay, so I think we did Silence of the Lambs, we did Candyman, we did Saw. What was the? Oh, and Halloween.
Oh, yeah. So that is the only one I've seen.
Okay. What do you think? How do you feel you did today?
I think I did decent.
Okay.
Like Saw, I knew broad strokes. Halloween, I knew he was trying to kill his sister.
Okay.
I yeah.
So, being that this is the first episode and we're going to be going through many upon many of different horror movies, do you feel like you're going to be inclined to be checking out some more horror movies at any point?
Maybe it like I do want to watch Halloween, although I don't tend to watch movies that often, so it's not super likely that I'll be watching them. But if some of them intrigue me enough, I think that I will check them out.
Okay. Well, those are the four movies that we've done for this video. Do you have anything you'd like to say to, the channel or anything like that?
Or fucking sucks.
You watch your mouth. All right. Well, on that note, YouTube, it's been great. If anyone decides that they want to take part, feel free to drop some comments down. Let me know what movies maybe you want Gareth to poorly describe, or what movies you want me to poorly describe to see if he can get them. Always make sure you put those suggestions down in the chat, down in the comments below. You don't have to like the video. I don't care. You can do it if you want. If you enjoyed it, like it. If you want to see more of this, subscribe. I do what you want. You have your own free will. It's not like John Kramer is gonna fucking come in and put a trap on you or something like that. Gareth might, but that's up to his own discretion. Outside
Would
of
I do
that,
that?
I don't know, for fun. But anyway, outside of that, thanks for watching. Gareth, thanks for joining in on this. I appreciate you. We'll be back. What do you want to do? Do you want to do these like twice a week, once a week? How do you want to do it?
I'd be fine with twice a week,
Cool.
honestly. Like, but it is up to you. Uh, I'll be home whenever you are, basically.
Sweet. Cool. So we want to make this a fun little series. You never know what kind of movies we're gonna do. But thanks for checking it out. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you if we survive. Peace.